they're doing a big forum here ahead of Liberation Day. Obviously, a big decolonization forum, and we have in the KUAM News Zoom room from Independence Guahan Maget Bavakwa. Good morning, Maget.
Buenas. Morning.
Also from the Statehood Task Force, Mr. Dewey Huffer.
Buenas and half a day, Total Hamza.
And he's a former youth Congress member serving on the decolonization commission. Tristan Quintanilla. Good morning. Good morning. So let's just get right into it. There's a forum with Fanohge. And if you guys don't know, the Fanohge Coalition is an organization comprised of, I want to say, about 5 million different community and cultural organizations. It really is. They did a whole march, which was jaw-dropping to me. They did a whole march ahead of the Davis case. You remember they filled Marine Drive with just a couple thousand people. So that's the Fanohge Coalition. And we're doing a forum 5:30, right?
Yes, the forum is tonight. So the Fanohge Coalition, we started doing events during the pandemic, so they were all virtual. But things are a little more open up. People have been hungering for a little bit more than watching Zoom webinars. And so we decided to have it at the Guam Museum Theater, 5:30 to 7:30 tonight. The Fanohge for the Future, Guam's Liberation Part 2 forum.
Dewey?
So basically, what we want to do is we're again we have this mission to educate the people. A lot of people believe that decolonization and self-determination is all about independence, rah rah rah. We want freedom from the United States and get rid of the white man, and that's really not true, and it's very misinformed opinion. So what we're trying to do is really educate people is as to the importance of self-determination and why decolonization and that process is so important. And it's not about independence. It's about the peoples of Guam's choice. It's about our future, and that's why we've got that name in the forum that we're doing. Because the things that we do today are not going to affect us as much as they will our children and our grandchildren. And so that's really what we're trying to do. We want people to get engaged and to understand and to feel the passion that we do for our self-governance, for our government. A lot of times we sit back and we complain, oh, the government this, the government that, why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? Why are things on Guam so expensive? Why do we have to import things? And why do we have to pay so much for travel and things like that? And so, a lot of that is about our economics, and that's all controlled by the government. And so this is our opportunity to make a stand to essentially, we have the same power and capability that the forefathers of the United States have. George Washington, and so that's all we're asking for is that people get involved and care as much as we do.
Right.
Because it's for our kids and our grandchildren.
It's for the children, Dewey. Stand by, guys. We're going to sign off on KUAM TV, and then we'll continue on our Facebook Live for just a few to kind of wrap this. Viewers on KUAM TV for Jason. Good job today, Jay.
All right. Always fun with you guys.
And Serena Salas Mantanani. I'm Chris. KUAM TV. Hasta adios! And we're back. This is kind of the first, and we're here with from Independence Guahan Maget Bavakwa, from the Statehood Task Force Dewey Huffer, from the Commission on Decolonization Tristan Quintanilla. But this is like the first, I want to say, unless I missed it, the first time out for a lot of you guys since the Davis case.
Yeah, or at least in organizing things in the public. Yeah,
right.
Just because the pandemic shut a lot of things down, and so we've had forums online, all sorts of stuff like that. But I think, as you know, July is such an important month for reflecting and remembering and thinking, and so we oftentimes remember what happened in the past, but let's also think about the future. And BJ Cruz, who was on here, just prior to us, he was part of OPIR and a number of other Chamorro activist groups, and they were some of the first ones to really ask the question, "Kung magahin naman libre," on July 21st, are we really liberated? There was definitely a liberation from Japanese occupation, but won't the real liberation come when we stop being a territory? And so that's the spirit that we're sort of thinking about for this forum, is that, let's honor the past, let's remember it, but then we also have to think about our next steps. It's good to think about the past, but we also have to think what's next for Guam, statehood, free association, independence. And let's get back into that conversation.
Right, and you're right. Let's get back into it, because it's been a pretty difficult conversation to have over the last year, not just because of COVID, but also because of this avalanche of federal money that we received. It kind of, I think in a lot of people's minds, even some people who maybe supported this movement, put ice on it, because they felt like, oh, why should we be talking about breaking from the U.S. in any way, shape, or form, whether it's free association, statehood, or independence or whatever, when they just gave us $3 billion, right? So it's kind of been difficult to even engage in conversation because of this, right? Dewey, go ahead.
That's one of the... Oh, yeah, and Dewey may want to talk on this, because that's one of the things that needs to be sort of demystified about this, is that if you thought that Guam got all these lifelines from the United States, these federal fund lifelines, and you like that, well, then as a territory, Guam got far less than it actually would as a state. And that as a state, Guam would have been in the position to get a lot of extra funding, which is what states were able to get in part of those huge aid packages. And so that's why it's important that these conversations aren't just about independence, because a lot of people think it's just about independence.
Yeah, because of you, Naimaget, your marketing is too good for independence, Guam. Your marketing it's too good, and now everyone associates decolonization with independence.
But it is, but let me give Dewey a chance to talk
right,
more
Dewey?
on that.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing, right? Is we as a territory are very limited in our capabilities. The governor has very limited power. Yes, we've got billions of dollars, but we like Miguel said, we could have gotten more. If we were a state, we could have gotten more. We would have had more of a voice. We could have more control over the way we spend. We would have control over how quickly things were done. But again, because as a territory, there's so much, the steps are a lot more difficult for us. You've got more layers of bureaucracy. Whereas with the state, it's clear set. All the other states are doing it. This is what Guam's going to do. As a territory, it's okay. Well, we need to check the compact impact. We need to check the, all the different legislative data that we have. How are we going to do this? And as you can see from the earlier interview with BJ, there's a lot of different items that have to be taken into consideration. And so being a territory complicates that. By us moving forward and taking advantage of the power that we have, and that's the thing, right? I think the root of the issue is that people don't see the power that we hold as Chamorros, as Guamanian people, as an island. We have the ability to determine our future and to say what we want, but people are afraid, and we're full of fear, right? My theory is that we've been colonized for over 500 years, and so now we don't really know how to speak out for ourselves. Since the Spanish came, we've been taught, you know what, you're inferior. You need to do whatever the colonizer tells you to do. Otherwise, you will be punished and killed. And I think that somehow has transcended all the generations and exists today on our island. Everybody is afraid to speak up. We don't want to bite the hand that feeds us. And we shouldn't have that fear. The Constitution exists to protect us from that mentality and from that punishment, so to speak. We have freedom of speech. We're right now, though, interestingly enough, They're examining the issues of voting and what freedom to vote and our voter rights. Then that's another thing too, is that there's so much misinformation being passed around that people are just again leading further down this path of fear. And so I think more people need to speak up about things that are happening on our island, and not just there, but even in the world. And once we can start the communication, then the clarity will come. But as long as people stay quiet, live in fear, and accept whatever information is fed to them, then we won't be able to progress, and we'll continue to just, decline, because that's kind of what's going to happen. And we're going to see that throughout the entire globe as a result of this pandemic.
All right, Tristan, I don't want to let these old farts hog the mic the whole time, so go ahead.
Could you repeat the question again? Sorry.
It wasn't really a question. Just so, what's going to be covered in this forum, and what are you excited about hearing?
Well, what I'm most excited about is just having the opportunity to continue learning about decolonization. For the youth, decolonization is a very scary topic. It has two major flaws. That is that it has a how do I put this? It's a big learning curve. You have to learn a lot in order to fully understand decolonization and to make a value judgment on it. Second flaw is that it's very boring and very complicated. And so for the youth, we're going through very turbulent times right now. We got the pandemic going on and the economic depression that's going on. A lot of us can't really concern ourselves with abstract concepts like decolonization. And so forums like these need to step in to make decolonization, present it as something that's important, something that's actually relevant to your day-to-day lives. A lot of youth on Guam were very despondent, very nihilistic. Why should I care about decolonization? I got to worry about my family. I got to worry about feeding my kids. I got to worry about going to college. Why should I care about this? What does this matter? Well, as Dewey was putting it, there are a lot of reasons why decolonization matters, but we're a generation that's very detached from the very concept of decolonization. But of course, we're the ones that are going to inherit this responsibility. And it is something that has to happen. It is something that we have to participate in. And so these forums are very important for getting the youth involved and getting us educated, because one day we will have to make a choice. And as it's going, if we don't get informed, the choice we might make is to not make a choice and to just continue. And, that's the one thing that I think all three task forces can agree shouldn't happen.
Yeah. And I love that. I love that there's that common ground between, a perceived radical like Mike, a statehood advocate like Dewey, and then someone like, former Senator Eddie Duenas, or even Eloy Hara. You know what I mean? And when you talk about these generations, I mean, going back to the walkout to former Governor Berdalio, to B.J. Cruz, to Ron Tehan, to Robert Underwood, to Hope, Auntie Hope, and all these people, it's just been a generational thing where you've seen this torch passed. And now you guys, I mean, Mike and Dewey are a little different from Tristan generationally, but like where you say, Tristan, that your generation seems kind of detached, I disagree, because I think that your generation is like the wokest ever when it comes to decolonization. I mean, just going on Twitter alone, that's the conversation that I see like every day, which is great. I think it's great because a lot of people will say that this next generation, they feel sorry for everybody when they, take the keys to the kingdom. But I like how you guys are engaged, and I think you spoke very eloquently on the subject. 5:30, guys are way out of time. I'm going to get in trouble because I went 10 minutes, but I got you guys with decolonization.
Hey, radical how loqui. Radical how loqui, Chris. Wow.
Ganks.
To the timekeepers.
Hey, so 5:30, and where is it on Facebook?
So it'll be in person at the Guam Museum Theater. You can attend. We're having limited seating because of COVID restrictions, but it will be live streamed on Facebook as well if you're not able to attend. But yeah, so please come down. There'll be a little bit of merienda too for those who can make it. We're going to get some lisadzu food from Chodi.
Thank you.
For those of you who have missed that. For those of you who have missed that over the past year and a half.
Right on. The tuna sandwich is king. I think it's the olives. Okay, Dewey, Miguel, thank you. Tristan.
Adios.
All right, Esther.
Sí, tú, Master.
Okay,
Thank you, guys.
Olgamas, right on. It's 10:11. Let's do Cover Me, brought to you by Burger King, where Chicken Fries Friday is coming up. All you got to do is go to Burger King on Friday and just say, Friday, woohoo! Order chicken fries and say, I love, love, love chicken fries, and they're going to give you a free chicken fries. Just like that. Just like, it's so easy. It's also brought to you by Docomo Pacific, and our Cover Me for this morning is by Claude. It's called Tell Me. Guys, remember tomorrow we're doing our big liberation stream. No matter how you feel about liberation, right? Because we just heard some pretty interesting opinions. No matter how you feel, you can still enjoy the fireworks. Give yourself that at least. There's fireworks. There's a drone show, right? They're also giving away 10 grand and a brand new car as the finale of the Vax and Win giveaway. We've got some performances from